All right, well, I just want to visit with you today about a few things dealing with the church primarily. First of all, we ask the question, why do people need Jesus? I can't answer for everybody, but for me, I needed to be forgiven of my sin. And not that I was a terrible person, but I was a sinner and really didn't even realize that. I needed the message of forgiveness, and that message of forgiveness changed my life here and now. And it gave me a mission, what I was supposed to do with my life. It transformed my life, even as a young person, 14 years of age, changed my life. But also I realized that as I got a little older, I began to have some of those kinds of experiences that when I died, I go to heaven. And now that I'm a lot older, that makes a much bigger difference even now. So people need Jesus because we need meaning in life, we need purpose in life, and we need something beyond this life. Second, another good question to ask is, why do we need the church? And my response would be, well, if you don't like the church, take it up with Jesus because He's the one that created it. He inaugurated it. And He said, this is going to be my church, and that we need one another, that you don't do this just by yourself. I think this is one of the biggest problems of Christianity in America, is that people can say, well, I need Jesus, but I don't need the church. We don't want to get there. It's in some ways 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. We need Jesus, but we need His church. We need His presence, but we need the body of Christ, the church. And so we have different gifts and different strengths, and we learn from one another generationally, intergenerationally, all kinds of different things, ways that we can grow and we can be together, not just for a little bit, but for a long, long time. And so it's from cradle to grave that we have the church together. We have different parachurch organizations and ministries that do wonderful things, but it's the church that brings us together and keeps us together through the generations. So as we think about this, I would respond, I think there are basically 4 things that I would say, and if you've been here, you've seen these before, so this isn't new, but number 1 is that the church, Asbury or any church, is always going to be about worship. We begin, we end with worship. That's who we are. And that will be not only something we do now in different styles and genres, but we will do eternally. I would say also that we're people that we are able to belong. And there's such great places for everybody. And so for the little babies and for children and grandchildren in my case, and for students and for adults and for seniors, and just our church is really, really a place where people belong. All ages, all places, all stages in life, we're able to help people to truly belong and to find their place. So that's important, that people need to fit in. And so we worship, we also belong here. We're loved, I think, before we believe. And so that's the second thing that I would point out as far as the 3 B's. We worship, we belong, and we believe. We believe in Jesus Christ. And again, the cornerstone is the resurrection, and you work backwards from that. Because of the resurrection, the crucifixion now makes sense. Because of the crucifixion, you go back to Christmas and the incarnation, the birth of Christ, and then the Old Testament begins to make sense, and the purpose. All of this flows together, but we believe. And the Apostles' Creed, we want you to know that. But it focuses centrally upon the person of Jesus and the resurrection. So we belong, we believe, and we also become servants. That is, that we go in ministry. I love it what John Wesley had to say. The world is my parish. He didn't say the parish is my world. The parish he was an Anglican, so the parish in England would have been the church, a local church. And so he's saying the local church is not my world, but my whole world is going to be where I'm going on ministry and mission. And so as I think about the opportunities, the things that we're doing around here, I'm shooting this as we're about to just walked in through the sanctuary, and we've got the Voice of the Martyrs as a worldwide ministry. We're helping them, we're hosting them. I just had lunch with a guy that does a combat team, and he's going in ministry, and somebody within our church and going all over the world. And I just think about the things that we can do, but it's centrally located around the church. And so we worship God here and now and eternally. We belong to the body of Christ, and we have a place here that everybody can fit in. We believe, we have certain beliefs that are core and dynamic. Churches disagree and differ on various components of that, but there's a core that we believe. And third, that we become servants. You've got to have all of these together for the church really to fit, to worship, to belong, to believe, and to become servants, to be engaged in ministry and mission. And so there's a lot to talk about around the table today. I hope you'll do that. I hope you'll think about what it is that I can do to participate in the life of the church and all of these different components.